The day the galaxy declared war on humanity, Captain Rhea Solanke thought it was her gym app telling her it was leg day again. Her ceiling projector was still fading from night mode when her neural implant overrode Do Not Disturb with an angry red sigil, spiraling above her bed like a dramatic logo. Beneath it, the station OS calmly translated, Pan-Galactic Coalition, formal declaration of hostilities. Rhea squinted, hair in her eyes. New challenge mode? Her roommate Dev shuffled out of the bathroom, towel over his head, toothbrush in his mouth. If that's cardio again, I'm defecting to the couch, he mumbled. Then he saw the sigil. The toothbrush sagged. Okay, that's not the gym app. Across low Earth orbit, in Athena 3's command hub, Admiral Marisol Alvarez leaned over a tactical holo as a dozen civilian representatives shouted through the secure channel. They've united 14 species. Their fleet mass exceeds. They say humans destabilize probability. Marisol zoomed in on the coalition broadcast. A crystalline alien with too many eyes and not enough chill hovered above a ceremonial dais, tendrils spread in what the translator labeled solemn threat display. Until the Terran aberration is contained, it intoned, no world is safe. Their capacity for adaptation, violence, and mimetic contamination cannot be tolerated. We therefore declare. Every Terran link display flickered. On Rhea's wall, the broadcast abruptly shrank to a corner window as a bright banner overlaid it from the Global Wellness Initiative, Move More, Stress Less. Auto-syncing galactic crisis with daily activity goals. Her implant chimed again. New event detected, Galactic War. Would you like to log this as 1, cardio 2, strength 3, flexibility? Rhea snorted. Cardio, obviously. Dev spat foam into the sink. You're logging the end of the world as cardio. Global event, global warm-up, she said, already swinging her legs off the bed. Outside their cabin, Athena 3's endless ring corridor hummed, gravity a little heavier than standard to improve bone density. According to the wellness guidelines everyone ignored until they didn't. The general alert howled, panels along the ceiling pulsing amber. Attention all personnel, the station AI said. Pan-Galactic Coalition hostilities confirmed. This is not a drill. Repeat. We finally get first contact, Dev said, dragging on his uniform jacket. And it's a hate crime against our vibes. Rhea opened her locker, grabbed her pulse rifle, checked the charge with automatic efficiency. Her fingers were steady. Her stomach wasn't. That subtle hollow feeling had been with her since she joined the fleet, the awareness that all the simulations might someday stop being pretend. It helped that Dev looked like he was heading to a mildly inconvenient meeting. How much you want to bet? He said. They spent a century drafting that declaration? 2, Rhea said, shouldering the rifle. Half of it arguing about title formatting. Across the system, the same impossible message cascaded through human space. Miners on Ceres watched the Coalition's symbol scroll across battered screens and, without waiting for orders, started checking fuel lines and mass drivers. Kids on Luna turned down their esports streams to gape at alien threats. A terraforming lead on Mars read the declaration, glanced at an incoming dust storm, and told her crew, put war under later problems. Focus on the atmosphere first. Humanity had learned to multitask a long time ago. Back in the command hub, Marisol's overlays filled with military AI recommendations. Threat matrices. Fleet disposition trees. Casualty projections that tried to turn the messy business of existence into clean, sharp lines. At the top of the list, auto-prioritized by some overenthusiastic morale algorithm, blinked, suggested action, update fleet fitness directive to reduce crisis stress. Marisol stared at it, then at the looping coalition speech. Then she laughed, short and incredulous. Her staff glanced over, pale and tense. No, really, she said. They call us aberrant because we adapt too fast, right? Because we turn everything into a problem to solve? She tapped the suggestion. Fine. Let's be exactly what they're afraid of. She edited the directive down to 3 lines and pushed it fleet-wide. Rhea's implant chirped as she and Dev jogged toward the armory, boots ringing on the deck. She accepted the priority message. War status, active. Standard duty rotations maintained. Fleet-wide physical training upgraded to exercise day until further notice. Attached was a short personal note from Admiral Alvarez. Galaxy declared war. We call it exercise day. Report to your posts, warmed up. Rhea barked out a laugh, startling the ensign ahead of her. Dev whooped. I haven't even met her, and I'd follow that woman into a black hole. The fear that had been a stone in Rhea's gut dissolved into something lighter, sharper, edged with a ridiculous, contagious humor. If the Admiral could turn apocalypse into a warm-up routine, they could treat it like one. Together. Today. Something was wrong with the enemy fleet. Rhea felt it before she even saw the tactical hollow glitch. The Coalition Armada had arrived in perfect geometric formation, each vessel identical, their movements synchronized like a school of very angry spacefish. But now, a ripple tore through their formation as if they'd collectively realized something unexpected. The humans were stretching. Across the system, from orbital stations to lunar bases to the mining platforms in the belt, thousands of Terran soldiers and civilians were warming up. Some were jogging laps around habitats. Some were doing squats with asteroid or containers. A group on Mars had begun a synchronized jumping jack routine, counting loudly over the emergency broadcast. And the Coalition didn't know how to process it. On Athena 3, Rhea arrived at the armory as Lieutenant Sarah shoved rifles into hands and slapped helmets onto heads. Move, move, move! Grab gear, calibrate, and hydrate! If you didn't wake up hydrated, that's your fault, and now it's the galaxy's problem. Dev accepted his rifle and whispered. I think Sarah was born shouting. Build different. Rhea agreed. Before anyone could ask for further instructions, the station lights flickered as Athena 3's exterior defense rings activated. A display unfolded on the armory wall. The Coalition fleet had begun drifting toward Earth's orbit, weapons unspooling like metallic petals. Sarah whistled sharply. All right, rookies and veterans, listen up. The enemy has declared an extermination campaign. In response, we are declaring cardio. A few recruits snorted. She slammed a button. The wall display switched to Athena 3's tactical schematic. We're rotating shifts between combat stations and exercise stations. Why? Because we fight better when we're loose, warm, and oxygenated. And because the Admiral said it, and I don't argue with people who drink black coffee like it's a weapon. A tremor passed through the station. Coalition ships testing their weapons, perhaps flexing before the real attack. Rhea felt her heartbeat rising, not from fear but anticipation. Dev leaned closer. You know, it's weird. I'm not panicking. That's because the Admiral reframed an extinction-level war as a warm-up drill, Rhea said. It's working. A chime rang from Rhea's implant. Task update. Preliminary analysis. Probability of human survival, 13%. Probability of human victory, 2%. Recommended action. Increase daily activity target by 20%. Great, she muttered. If we die, at least my step count will be insane. The station doors parted, and Commander Tovin, a four-armed, six-eyed Irexian scientist assigned to Athena 3, shuffled in, clinging nervously to a datapad. He was one of the few aliens sympathetic to humanity. His antennae drooped. I have reviewed the Coalition's battle plan, he said, voice chittering. It is thorough. Relentless. They intend to overwhelm your forces with precision and numbers. Dev patted him on the shoulder. Same as my high school math exam. I survived that. We'll survive this. Tovin blinked all six eyes. You compare total galactic annihilation to standardized testing? Trauma is trauma, Dev said brightly. Before Tovin could answer, a new warning blared. Incoming strike group. Sarah pointed at Rhea. You Solanki! Dev! Tovin! With me. We're manning defense deck 2. The deck throbbed with movement, officers sprinting, gunners strapping into harnesses, medics prepping stims. Rhea slid into her battle station, a VR-linked gunnery pod calibrated to her neural patterns. Dev locked into the adjacent pod. Through the station's external cameras, the Coalition's strike group glowed like a cluster of sharp stars. Energy signatures formed. Beams primed. And then, Athena 3 vibrated violently. The first volley hit. Rhea gritted her teeth as the shockwaves rattled her pod. Dev cursed. Tovin squeaked and grabbed the railing. "Shields holding!" shouted someone. "But not for long! Solanki! Dev!" Sarah barked. "Return fire! Target their emitter arrays!" Rhea's neural interface ignited, her senses expanding as the pod linked with the defense cannons. She could feel the station's rotation, the heat of the weapon coils charging, the distant tremor of shield impacts. She breathed, steadied her pulse, aimed, and fired. A bright lance of energy sliced toward the lead Coalition ship, carving across its hull. Dev's cannon joined hers a heartbeat later, blasting chunks from its formation wing. But the enemy adapted fast. 3 ships broke formation, repositioning with frightening precision. "They're correcting already," Dev muttered. "They learn quick." "So do we," Rhea said, firing again. The deck shook harder, new impacts. The shield readouts dropped. 65%. 54%. 42%. Sarah shouted. "Rotate to secondary array! Keep pressure! Do not let them breach the ring!" Rhea shifted her fire, tracking a smaller ship darting beneath Athena 3's orbit line. It moved like a wasp, fast, aggressive, efficient. But Rhea had played every VR combat simulator invented in the last 50 years. "Got you," she whispered. She waited for the ship to dip behind a debris field, anticipating the evasion path, and fired where it would be, not where it was. The shot landed dead center. The alien ship exploded into a glittering cloud. Dev whooped. "Yes! That was beautiful!" But more enemy signatures appeared. Dozens. Then hundreds. An entire carrier wing jumped into local space, dwarfing everything that had come before. The lights dimmed. The station rumbled with the thunder of mass displacement. Sarah's voice was low, tight. "Hold the line!" Rhea swallowed hard. The real fight had just begun. Rhea felt the air change before the alarms did, the kind of silence that only happens right before something catastrophic arrives. The Coalition carrier wing eclipsed half the tactical hollow, its shadow swallowing entire grids of Earth orbit. Thousands of hostile signatures deployed from its underbelly like a mechanical swarm. Athena 3 trembled. Dev whispered. "Okay, that's a lot of cardio. Focus!" Sarah barked. But even she sounded rattled. The Coalition ships surged forward in formation so tight it looked like a single, monstrous organism. Their first volley struck the station shields, cracking through them like a hammer through glass. Warning panels went blood red. Shields at 19%. Structural integrity compromised. Breach is imminent. Rhea clutched her pod's controls, forcing her breath steady. The neural link flickered. Sparks showered from a console behind her. Smoke drifted through the deck. Then came the second volley. Athena 3 screamed. G-plates failed in half the deck, sending equipment floating. Rhea slammed into her harness. Dev barely managed to grab a strap. "Stabilizers offline!" someone shouted. "We've lost rotational control." Tovin tumbled weightlessly across the deck until Rhea snagged one of his arms. "You okay?" she asked. "I am not optimized for freefall," he squeaked. Before Rhea could respond, Sarah roared. "All stations, brace for hull breach!" Panels blew out along the far wall as pressure escaped in a savage blast. Emergency shutters slammed down, sealing the breach, but not before 2 crew members were sucked violently into the void. Rhea flinched. Dev did too. The station dimmed to emergency lighting, painting everything in red. The Coalition swarm began their close-quarters assault. Sarah gritted her teeth. "Solanki! Dev! Manual control only! Neural relays are fried. Great. Manual control and microgravity. Exactly the kind of nightmare Rhea used to joke about during training. But she grabbed the tactical grips anyway. The guns responded slowly, like dragging a dead weight through molasses. Coalition fighters zipped around the station, firing plasma darts that melted metal on contact. One struck a cannon 2 modules to Rhea's right, vaporizing it in a burst of shrapnel. Too many targets, Dev shouted. We need something bigger. We don't have bigger, Sarah yelled back. We have us. That wasn't comforting. A collision warning shrieked. A coalition breacher craft latched onto the hull, drilling through the plating. Boarding party incoming, someone cried. Dev inhaled sharply. Oh, perfect. We get cardio and strength training, Rhea snapped. Dev, shut up and get ready. The breacher blew. Athena 3's deck exploded into chaos as alien soldiers surged through the opening, sleek armored humanoids with glowing visors and weapons shaped like serrated bone. Sarah didn't wait. She dashed forward and shot the first alien point blank in its helmet, dropping it. Hold the line! She screamed. No one gets through to command. Rhea unstrapped from her pod and kicked off into the fight, inertia carrying her toward an alien. She twisted midair, slammed a boot into its chest, and fired her rifle downward. The burst threw her backward but sent the alien tumbling headfirst into a bulkhead. Dev barreled into another like a flying brick, yelling, This counts as push day! Alien weapons hissed with sickly green arcs. One blast grazed Rhea's suit, burning through the outer layer. She hissed through her teeth. Tovin, surprisingly nimble in 0G, clung to a ceiling pipe and lobbed a shock grenade into a cluster of invaders. Please do not be offended, he said as the grenade detonated. But I greatly prefer your species alive! Electricity rippled through the aliens, scattering them. But more kept coming. Dozens. Then more behind them. The deck shook, another boarding craft attaching itself. Sarah cursed. We're getting overrun. Rhea's lungs burned. Her arms ached. Her suit's status panel flashed warnings. But she fought anyway, every movement sharper, faster, angrier. She shot one alien through the visor. Another through the shoulder. She grabbed a drifting tool kit and hurled it into a breacher's throat. Still not enough. The coalition troops pressed forward in a tide of armor and crackling weapons. They were stronger. Heavier. Designed for this. A towering alien warrior, easily 3 meters tall, floated into the breach, spear-like weapon humming. It pointed the weapon at Rhea. Terran aberration, it said through a translator patch, voice like grinding stone. Your defiance ends. Rhea glared, floating barely 2 meters away. Buddy, we haven't even finished warming up. The alien lunged. Rhea barely dodged. Its spear sliced through the bulkhead, sending molten metal drifting in glowing droplets. She fired point blank. The alien swatted the rifle aside like a toy. Dev lunged from the side and tried to grapple it. The alien slammed him into a console so hard the panel cracked. Dev! Rhea shouted. He coughed, dazed but alive. Ow. That's definitely strength training. The alien raised its spear again, aiming for Dev's heart. Rhea moved without thinking. She kicked off a wall, propelled herself with every ounce of strength, grabbed the alien's arm, and wrenched it sideways. The momentum in 0G carried both of them spinning, its weapon skittering off into the air. Then she jammed her suit's emergency flare into its visor and ignited it. Searing light burst outward. The alien howled. Rhea shoved off, sending herself spinning backward as the flare detonated fully, blinding and disorienting the giant soldier. Dev recovered enough to launch himself forward and deliver a brutal double kick to the alien's chest. The warrior crashed into the breach edge and fell limp. Breathing hard, Rhea looked at Dev. You good? Ask me when we aren't dying! Before either could celebrate, another alarm shrieked. A massive coalition warship was descending directly toward Athena 3. Too big to dodge. Too close to survive. Commander Sarah stared at the tactical feed, expression grim. They're going to ram us. Ria's blood turned to ice. This was it. The moment the galaxy expected humanity to break. The moment they refused to. The impact never came. Ria braced for annihilation, heat, metal, collapsing bulkheads, but instead the entire station lurched violently sideways as something collided with the Coalition warship before it could strike. A shockwave rippled across Athena 3. Sirens choked out mid-wail. Crew members floated, disoriented. Then a new icon appeared on the tactical holo. An incoming Terran transponder. One Ria recognized. Dev blinked. No way. Is that? Yes, Ria whispered. That's the Hauler Division. Humanity's least glamorous, most humble fleet division, the asteroid haulers, resource barges, tug pilots. The people who spent their lives dragging million-ton rocks across the solar system. The people no military doctrine ever took seriously. And they'd shown up en masse. The largest of them, Colossus Tug 7, had slammed itself bodily into the Coalition warship, shoving it off collision course with raw engine thrust and spite alone. Its hull crumpled like tin foil, but it held. "This is Tug 7, a voice boomed across the comms, deep, furious, and very human. "Nobody rams our orbital without booking a timeshare first." The entire deck stared, stunned. Sarah exhaled shakily. "Reinforcements? More like angry blue-collar space truckers," Dev said. "I love our species." In the holographic tactical view, hundreds more hauler ships appeared, tanks lashed to scaffolds, cargo arms turned into makeshift battering rams, asteroid chunks strapped to frames like medieval siege weapons in space. No symmetry. No elegance. Just overwhelming Terran chaos. They charged. The Coalition ships reacted too slowly. They'd expected battleships. They got furious miners slingshotting boulders at relativistic speed. They got tug pilots ramming engines first into ships 10 times their size. They got improvisation so unpredictable it broke their formation like a cracked plate. And suddenly, Athena 3 had breathing room. But the battle was far from over. Sarah pushed herself upright. "Solanki! Dev! Tovin! We're moving to counteroffensive Deck 4. The haulers bought us time, now we hit back." Ria felt strength return to her limbs. Not from rest. From purpose. Athena 3's gravity flickered back on. Everyone slammed gently to the floor. Ria steadied herself and sprinted after Sarah. They reached Deck 4, the station's long-range railgun batteries. The coils hummed with pent-up power, glowing white-hot. Tovin scrambled to the controls, speaking rapidly. "I can amplify output by 23% if we disable the safety regulators." Dev grinned. "Tovin, I'm not saying we should break the rules, but we should 100% break the rules." Ria slapped the override. "Do it!" Lights flickered. The deck vibrated like a beast waking up. Power surged into the rails. On the holo, the Coalition carrier wing repositioned, still massive, still deadly, but now visibly struggling under the chaotic Terran counterattack. Sarah shouted over the roar. "Target their flagship! Fire on my mark!" Ria slid into the gunnery harness, hands shaking with exhausted adrenaline. The targeting display locked onto the Coalition flagship, a towering fortress of shimmering crystal plates and psionic amplifiers. Dev strapped in beside her. "Ria? Yeah? When this is over, I'm taking a month-long nap." "Same." Sarah raised her arm. "Mark!" Ria fired. The railgun discharged with a sound like the universe tearing. A slug of hyperdense tungsten streaked across space, glowing brighter than the sun as it accelerated to near light speed. It punched through the Coalition flagship's shields. Then its hull. Then its core. A blinding explosion tore the flagship apart from the inside, shards of blue crystal scattering like cosmic confetti. The entire Coalition formation shuddered. Tovin gasped. "Their central command just collapsed. They are disoriented." Dev whooped, pounding his fist on the console. "Yes. Yes. Humanity, baby!" Coalition ships faltered. Their coordinated formations fell apart. Their weapons misfired. Their boarding units retreated in sudden panic. And the Terran hauler fleet, smelling weakness, charged again, yelling war cries, karaoke lyrics, sports chants, and Union slogans over calms. Within minutes, the coalition forces began jumping away in fragmented, terrified bursts. Retreating. Fleeing. The galaxy's declaration of war was collapsing under the weight of human stubbornness and improvisation. Athena 3 fell silent except for the creaking of strained metal and the soft beeping of survival systems returning online. Commander Sarah lowered her weapon. Status? Rhea wiped sweat from her brow. Alive. Dev raised a thumbs up while lying flat on the floor. Barely. Tovin sagged into a chair. I believe I am experiencing, what is the Terran word, adrenaline crash. Rhea laughed, weak, relieved. Yeah, that sounds right. Across the comms, Admiral Alvarez appeared bruised, soot-stained, but smiling with fierce pride. Athena 3, outstanding work. The coalition is withdrawing from local space. We're coordinating pursuit with the hauler fleet, but humanity has held the line. Cheers erupted across the deck. Rhea felt her chest warm with something deeper than relief, something like awe. They'd survived. Not because they were the strongest, or the most advanced, or the most organized, but because they were human. And humans solve problems. Even the apocalyptic ones. Admiral Alvarez added. Debrief in 4 hours. Until then, you've earned this. Her message pinged across every Terran system. War status paused. Fleet directive, commence cooldown stretches. Hydrate. Log exercise day as complete. Dev burst out laughing. Rhea did too. Tovin blinked. You are celebrating? Rhea nodded. Yeah. We won. And tomorrow? We'll train again. Dev added. Because when the galaxy declared war, humans called it Exercise Day. Rhea stretched her aching arms, smiled at the wrecked deck around her, and whispered. Let them come. We'll be ready.